Today, we're going to unpack one of the most intuitive and frankly one of the most powerful ideas in all of machine learning, the nearest neighbor rule. You know, it's that old saying we've all heard a million times. It's this simple piece of folk wisdom, right? The idea that we're basically a reflection of the people we hang out with. But what if I told you that this very idea is the secret sauce behind a classification method that's not only incredibly easy to grasp, but also comes with some seriously powerful guarantees? So let's dive in and see how it all works. Okay, let's break this down. We're going to start with the absolute simplest version you can imagine, the one nearest neighbor, or what we call 1NN for short. And the concept? It's literally as simple as it sounds. You have a new, unclassified data point. To figure out what it is, you just find the single training point that's closest to it, and you just copy its label. That's it. Really. Let's make this real. Imagine we drop a new point right at the coordinates 3, 3. The process is super straightforward. First, we're going to measure its distance to every single point we already have. Then, we find the one with the smallest distance. And finally, we just give our new point its label. And boom, here are the numbers. After we calculate the distance to all 5 of our points, you can see there's a clear winner, right? Point x5 is the closest, with a distance of just over 1.4, while everybody else is tied at more than 2.2 away. So, because x5 belongs to class B, our new point gets labeled class B. Easy peasy. But is it always a good idea to just listen to one neighbor? What if they're a little weird? I mean, think about it. What if your single closest neighbor is an outlier, or maybe just some noisy data? Relying on just one opinion can be pretty risky. And that's where we bring in the idea of a committee, or in our case, the k-nearest neighbors algorithm. So instead of listening to just one neighbor, KNN looks at the k closest neighbors, and k is just a number we get to pick. It's kind of like taking a poll of the neighborhood to see what everyone thinks. The class that gets the most votes wins. All right, let's head back to our example. This time, let's set k to 3. So who are the 3 closest points? Well, we've got x5, which is from class B, and then we have x1 and x2, which are both from class A. And when we tally the votes, class A gets 2 votes, while class B only gets 1. Majority rules, and just like that, our point is now classified as class A. Wow. So by just asking 2 more neighbors, we totally flipped the result. But hang on a second. Does that feel totally fair to you? I mean, look how much closer that class B neighbor is. It's right there. The other 2 are much further away. Shouldn't its opinion count for more? Well, of course we can do that. It's called distance weighting. The idea is so simple. The closer you are, the louder your voice. As you can see here, we're weighting each vote by 1 over the distance squared. That means a tiny distance gives you a huge vote. And check this out. The super heavy vote from that really close class B point, it completely overwhelms the combined votes from the 2 class A points that are farther away. The decision flips back to class B. Now that feels much more intuitive. Okay, so this all feels really intuitive, right? It just makes sense. But how good is it really? Can we actually rely on this simple little rule? Well, this leads us to one of the most beautiful and frankly shocking guarantees in all of machine learning. And here it is. This comes from something called the cover-Hart theorem. Now, don't get hung up on the math on the screen. Think of it as a promise. It's a rock-solid performance guarantee for our super simple one nearest neighbor rule. So what's the promise? In plain English, it says that as you get more and more data, the mistake rate of this simple find the closest method will never be worse than twice the mistake rate of the absolute best, most perfect classifier you could possibly imagine. This chart makes it crystal clear. Let's say the best possible model in the entire universe could achieve a 10% error rate on some problem. This theorem guarantees that our simple little 1NN rule is going to have an error rate of no more than 18%. That's just incredible for something so basic. Now, the theory is amazing, but if you're going to use KNN in the real world, there is one critical step that you absolutely cannot under any circumstances skip. And it all has to do with how we measure distance. Imagine you're looking at people's age and their income. Age might go from, say, 20 to 60, but income, that could be from $20,000 to $200,000. See the problem? When you go to calculate distance, the gigantic numbers from income are just going to bully the tiny numbers from age. Yeah, I mean, look at this. If we calculate the distance between two people with these raw numbers, the result is around 10,000. And it's basically all coming from the income difference. The age difference might as well not even exist. It's become totally irrelevant.
So what's the fix? It's simple, but it's non-negotiable. You have to standardize your features. You basically put everything on the same playing field, so no single feature gets to dominate the conversation.
And once we do that, just look at the new distance. It's about 1.03. Now, both age and income are pulling their own weight. They both get a meaningful say in who the nearest neighbor actually is. It's finally a fair fight.
All right, so KNN is obviously a really cool tool to have in your toolbox. But like any tool, you need to know when to use it and when not to. So let's do a quick rundown of the pros and cons. On the plus side, it's super simple to understand. And get this, there's zero training time. You just store the data. Plus, it's really flexible. It can learn all sorts of complicated patterns. But there's a flip side. It can be really slow when you're trying to make a prediction. It eats up a ton of memory. And as we just saw, you have to get the scaling right.
But all of those problems, they're nothing. They're nothing compared to the big one. It's true Achilles' heel. And that is something called the curse of dimensionality. Just try to picture this. If you have a line, one dimension, finding a close neighbor is easy. 2 dimensions, like a flat piece of paper, still pretty easy. But what happens when you have 10 features, or 20, or 100? The space just gets so mind-bogglingly big and empty that the whole idea of being nearby starts to lose its meaning, which leads to one final, absolutely wild question. So get this, if you have just 20 dimensions, just 20 features, and you want to be pretty sure your nearest neighbor is actually close, you would need about 10 to the power of 20 data points. Let that sink in. That's a 1 followed by 20 zeros. That is way more than all the grains of sand on planet Earth. It's a crazy reminder that while our simple human intuition about who our neighbors are works great down here, in the massive, empty world of high-dimensional data, pretty much everyone is a stranger.